Kevin McCarthy must think you're stupid, because the man who desperately wants to be Speaker of the House has gone all in on the big lie. And that, of course, requires lying all the time. But even by the degraded standards of today, his desperate attempts to deflect and rewrite history at a press conference yesterday were shameless. Let's set the scene. It was his first presser since McCarthy refused to testify in front of the January 6th Commission, presumably for fear of implicating Donald Trump or himself. But because God's got a sense of humor, it happened to be 1 year to the day exactly since he took to the floor of the House and said this.
The president bears responsibility for Wednesday's attack on Congress by mob rioters. He should have immediately denounced the mob when he saw what was unfolding. And make no mistake, those who are responsible for Wednesday's chaos will be brought to justice.
Yes, that day he called for a fact-finding commission, and he's been trying to kill it ever since. So when asked by a reporter why he abruptly changed his position after a visit to Mar-a-Lago, just 3 weeks after the attack, here's what McCarthy said.
What changed? Why did I make the trip?
What changed from what you said on the floor, criticizing him, saying that he was...
My criticism went to everyone on that day. Why was the Capitol so ill-prepared that day?
It's sad to see a grown man so scared of an ex-president. Because his criticism was directed at Donald Trump that day. It wasn't some free-floating condemnation of everyone. And notice how fast he wanted to pivot to his preferred talking point about Capitol Hill police preparation, which he repeated 3 times. That's because that's the new line, an insinuation that Speaker Nancy Pelosi might somehow be responsible for the Capitol being overrun by a violent mob of Trump supporters. He's trying out the Trump playbook of project and deflect. Now, one major reason why the committee wants to talk with McCarthy is because he spoke with Donald Trump that day. And one of his Republican colleagues said it was a screaming match that showed the president didn't want to call off the rioters, which is incredibly relevant to the question of Trump's state of mind. But after telling CNN he would testify, McCarthy's done a 180. Now he doesn't want to offer any details about the Trump call, and he's really upset that phone records have been requested. As the Republican co-chair of the committee, Liz Cheney, said, he's clearly trying to cover up what happened. Now, the number one rule of project and deflect is to accuse your opponents about what you've been credibly accused of. And so McCarthy has denounced the Jan 6 Commission as an abuse of power. Here's the part of why he says it's illegitimate.
Nancy Pelosi waited 4 months. In that time period, as we came here and discussed many times, you were here, you would ask me questions. My fear began to erode that she'd play politics with this. Never did I think a speaker would play such politics and then appoint a chairman who starts the committee by saying the only person out of bounds is the speaker.
Playing politics. Now, because he's trying to memory hold the entire thing under layers of mock outrage, here's what really happened. McCarthy wrote a letter to Speaker Pelosi in late February, demanding 3 conditions: an equal split and appointee from both parties, co-equal subpoena power, and no predetermined conclusions. Pelosi agreed. But then in May, McCarthy was trying to whip votes against the commission that he requested. 35 House Republicans defected. Now, when Pelosi unilaterally created the special commission, McCarthy tried to appoint Republicans who believed the big lie. Folks like Jim Jordan, who'd been trying to overturn the election with Trump, and Jim Banks. Now, Pelosi rejected these 2 poison pill participants. Then McCarthy pulled all his picks. So, spare us the crocodile tears, Congressman. Likewise, McCarthy's claim that committees can only investigate for legislative purpose ignores multiple precedents like, Benghazi. And it also ignores possible congressional changes to strengthen our democracy, like reforming the Electoral Count Act. Now, despite McCarthy's cries to the contrary, of course, the real outrage isn't the January 6th Commission. It's the attack on our Capitol that was inspired by a president's attempts to overturn the election. But the fact that GOP leaders like McCarthy have decided to fall in line with the big lie after the fact and try to rewrite recent history is straight out of Orwell. These folks might as well be campaigning under a banner that says ignorance is strength. It shows that they're willing to sacrifice almost anything on the altar of their ambition. And that's just more evidence of why the threat to our democracy is far from over. And that's your reality check.